glad you're here.
We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Hey, we're glad you're here. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Maybe Monday.
Maybe Monday.
Whatever day.
Whatever day.
We're glad you're here.
We're glad you're here.
Hey, we're glad you're here.
We're glad you're here.
Hey.
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 And
we're live. We're live. Hey, hey, we're live. Hey, we're live. Hey, hey, we're live. Tag somebody and press the share. Hey, we're live. Tag somebody and press the share. Hey, we're live. Tag somebody and press the share. Hey, we're live. We're live. We're live. Hey, hey, we're live.
Yes, we're live, guys. Welcome to God's Got Jokes TV. I'm Jamal.
And I'm Portia.
And we are
The Gates.
And if you're watching on YouTube, please press that subscribe button, press the share button. And if you're watching on Facebook, as always, press that like, press that share like the song says. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to watch right now.
Yes, we are so glad you're here. If you don't mind, go follow us over on Instagram at Guys Got Jokes TV. You can also follow us individually. I'm at Personality.
And I'm at Jamal Rich Comedy.
Yes, and we got a really great show for y'all today. It's a day that we was praying for, a day we was hoping for. What? It can only be one thing. One thing can only be one thing. One thing. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 celebration time, celebration time, celebration time, celebration time. Kamala Harris is the VP. Kamala Harris is the VP. Joe Biden is the president. He's about to be come January. Hey, come January. Come January. Hey. You gotta make it work. You gotta make it work when you're on live. Hey. You gotta make it work when you're on live. You gotta make it work when you're on live. Joe B is gonna be our next president. Hey.
We got a black beat.
We got a black beat. We got a black beat. Hey. We got a black beat. We just stay on beat. I'm just kidding. Yo, we got a black Veep.
Black woman Veep.
A black woman.
Black woman Veep from an HBCU.
The Howard University. Go Bisons. We aren't Bisons, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. We are HBCU, affiliates. Well, I'm a graduate, and Jamal went to Hampton. So, Hampton, Spelman, spell Hampton, all this, HBCU love. Send your kids to black colleges.
Always.
What? Don't tell us what black colleges can't produce. Well, we got a whole VP.
Got a whole VP.
A whole black woman VP who's also the first Southeast Asian Veep, of Asian heritage.
First Veep the first daughter of 2 immigrants, VP.
What? And she got her husband, the second gentleman. He's Jewish, and she from Oakland.
Hood.
She from Oakland, and she's an AKA. I'm a Zeta, so I'm hyped because she's a BGLO, Black Greek Letter Organization. NPHC, National Panhellenic Council. I'm really excited, right? And she is not just any AKA. She's Alpha Chapter AKA.
Right.
Alpha Chapter. If y'all know anything about single letter chapters, and if you know anything about being the Alpha Chapter, where it all began, that's so dope. And she graduated in the 80s, yo. She went over in the 80s. So I'm super excited. The 80s.
School days.
Right. She's school days, Greek. School days, HBCU.
Right.
Speaking of school days, it's on Netflix right now. Go check it out.
For the culture.
Learn something. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited, that Kamala Harris is the new Veep, right? Of course, we got to do the whole rundown of, how we even got to this night. Obviously, we've been following the election all, season long since we've come back,
All season
long. We've been following it and stuff. And so, we talked about the debates. We talked about, when Joe Biden announced that Kamala would be his running mate. We've been following. If you've been watching with us. If it's your first time, go check out one of our old videos. Go check out one of our past episodes. Hey,
watch all of them.
Watch all of them. Give yourself a Guys Got Jokes TV marathon. Why not? So, yeah. So we have been following, and we're super excited So everything, it started on a dark and stormy night called Election Day. I'm just kidding. So on Tuesday, November 3rd, it was a very high anxiety day. We voted early. We shared that already, that we voted early. And the rest of the country who didn't vote early or put their mail-in ballots in the mail, threw them in the mail just throw it in the mail. They put it in the mail on Tuesday, and people went to the ballots. People went to the polls. They went to the polls and they put forth their ballots. And the people have spoken. What did you think about Election Day, Jamal?
Election Day, the day.
Yeah. Don't mind me, I got something in my face.
Election Day felt so like you could go outside and you could feel like something was different about this year's Election Day. Like it was so many people, like kids, like Gen Zers, it's their first time voting. Like everybody's asking you, like, oh my God, did you go to the polls? Did you vote early? Did you mail in your ballot? Like, how did you vote? Like, and it's the first election I can really think about when when everybody the whole community was actually involved. Like, it wasn't just like one really woke person telling everybody to go vote. And it was just regular, degular people just like, hey, I voted yesterday. And like, I put my vote in early. I'm so proud of myself. And it was just like, yeah, you should be proud of yourself. That's what your ancestors died for. Like, and everybody was just so happy. I have a coworker. He just got his immigration status like a couple months ago. I mean, not immigration. He became a citizen a few months ago. So he was actually happy that he could vote in this election. So, and he was so proud to cast his vote, and I'm happy for him.
This was my brother-in-law's first big U.S. election as well. Well, our brother-in-law, not just your brother-in-law, our brother-in-law, because we's married.
And we's married.
So, shout out to our brother-in-law, our brother-in-love, Steve. Congratulations on your first time voting in the U.S. election. As he is an American citizen now, he emigrated from France by way of Guadeloupe, and so shout out to him. And there was I saw in his videos like this pride to be able to have casted a vote, and to know that his vote made a difference, right? It was just such a sense of pride to just say, like, I know my vote is making a difference. Like, I really felt like we made a difference. Like, for real, this is the first time in my voting process that I actually felt like my vote meant something, and just the way the day went. I called my mother first thing in the morning. She went to vote early with one of her really close friends, Miss Angela. And then my father went and voted later that afternoon. I called my father and he told me, that he voted. And, we just had some conversation and we had some family talk. And I know, your mother, you want to talk about what your mother was doing? Oh,
yeah. My mom does what she does every election season. He was out there working the polls. And this year, especially, because she was in a new city. My mom moved from New York to be with family in Flint, Michigan. Shout out to the Flint, Michigan family. And she was out there in a new city, still working the polls, still doing her due diligence. This year, she was out here in the field, handing out flyers and paperwork to get people to come inside to vote. And I told her, she didn't even realize that she was making history. I was like, Mom, you don't realize how much history you're making this year? Like, you got Michigan, you played a part in Michigan, like, getting this president elected.
Yeah, because Michigan flipped, right? Michigan flipped blue. And so that was such a really big, like, major thing. And so I think it was so important for you, like, to mention that, like, your mom, being a poll worker. And my sister has said to me, and actually seen the stories of so many people. And shout out to Reverend Dr. Nichelle Guidry. She shared as well her voting experience. And so the reason why I bring up the experience of Patrice and Nichelle and the work of your mom is because the pride that comes with of what we see Black women. We see a lot of Black women working the polls, making sure people's ballots get submitted properly, to give you the sticker, to just say what, like, just to make you feel good about the deed and the task you've done. And so it's just so beautiful to see the women who have really carried the election process on their backs, right? You know, Black women have been so instrumental. As soon as we could have access to voting and working the polls, Black women have been there, really trying to mobilize our community. And so, you know, major shout out to all of the Black women, to everybody really who's worked the polls, who's been every ballot counter. And, you know, we have to give a big shout out. You know, we shouted out the Veep, you know, being a Howard, you know, University graduate. We have to also shout out my Spelman sister, you know, Stacey Abrams.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, Spelmanites, we gonna run that thing until we can't run it no more, okay? Stacey Abrams. You know, not to put her on a celebrity pedestal or anything like that, but just to say that she galvanized and she worked really hard to round up people to make sure every vote was counted in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
And I first voted in a presidential election in the state of Georgia. So it's very, very dear to my heart. When I was a Spelman student, I voted for Barack Obama in 2008 in Georgia in that presidential election, and he won, right? So that was such a big deal for me. So to see Stacey Abrams in Georgia helping to turn Georgia blue, something that I had hoped to see when I was a student, when I was voting there, it's actually happening. And so I'm very excited. You know, shout out to Stacey Abrams. But like I said, Stacey Abrams isn't working alone. There are so many people behind her. There's so many people working with her who are making this happen. To see these states that are traditionally red, or states that are swing states, swinging, you know, blue. It's really, really powerful, these battleground states. And so it was beautiful to see. I'm just so moved, you know, just to say, wow, like, look at what happened, you know, and it took some time, you know, but let's talk about our Tuesday night, election night. You know, what did we do, Jamal? What did we decide to do?
It was taken. This election was so close that we actually decided not to stress ourselves out
at all. I said to him, I said, baby, I said, look, what we not gonna do, what we not finna do is stress out about this election, not because it's not important, because obviously it is, but I didn't want the anxiety of the election to weigh on us. We are two people who live with anxiety. And so we'll say more about that next week, because we're actually going to do an episode on mental health. We're going to talk about mental health and being Blacks in therapy. We're going to talk about that next week. Shameless plug. We didn't want the anxiety that we already live with to be escalated due to this election. And so we made the conscious decision to not tune into any of the commentary or to tune into all of the, you know, the stuff, right? We made a conscious decision. It is. Like, we got off social media. Go ahead, say something. I'm sorry. I know I'm on a roll.
No, it's okay. No, we got off of social media. We turned off the television. Well, we changed the channel. And
we did.
I forgot. What do we end up watching?
Something on Disney.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because Disney is happy vibes.
Yeah, I think we watched Once Upon a Time.
We did. Okay. Yeah. So, that's the series we're currently on. It's ongoing, you know.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to get our mind off things, enjoy ourselves, you know. We had, earlier in the week, we had read Beyonce's Vogue article when she talked about she's embracing her own joy. Yeah. And she's focusing on her own joy. So that's what we decided to do in the middle of this election. Instead of inducing our anxiety, focusing on our own joy, focusing on our household and things that we love to do and things that make us happy. You know, we play Christmas music. It makes us happy. It's like the votes are gonna get counted either way. We're gonna find out who won either way. Or it could be as what turned out to be happening. It got drawn out, and
like I said, I knew it. I had a feeling in my shando, in my spirit, it was gonna get drawn out.
Why focus and stress yourself? Like, the amount of anxiety I've seen in the Black community this week. A lot. Like, it felt like we all forgot to take the chicken out the freezer and our mom's on her way home. And we're just like, oh my God, is she home yet? Is she home yet? Like, you don't need that type of anxiety ever in your life. So focus on your joy, people. Like, that's all I gotta say. No matter what's happening in life, focus on your joy. Yeah, and I think this is accredited to Brittany Packnett, who says that Black joy is resistance. If she's not the one who originally said that, then forgive me. But I remember seeing it in her timelines, just throughout time, where she has said Black joy is a form of resistance.
Like the NAP ministry says that rest is a form of resistance. And so we were committed to cultivating our Black joy, cultivating our Black rest. The next day I decided to get my hair done. Okay. Self-care plan, to have a self-care plan in place that allowed us to not overthink and overstress about the things that we could not control.
Right.
Now, I will say it was about Thursday when we started seeing Thursday, yes, because Thursday was the day that we all had saw the Paula White video.
Oh, yeah.
I could really go in on that,
Yeah.
but
for those who haven't seen it, Paula White is a do I call her a preacher?
I mean, she's preaching something.
Okay.
I don't know who she preaching about.
Yeah, but she got up there and she started praying for angels from Africa and angels from Venezuela to support 45, which is ironic because he don't support the angels from Africa. Yeah, no, it was just all very surreal, and it seemed to me counterproductive on their behalf. But you
I'll quote verbatim. She says, "I'm gonna do my Paula White impression."
Oh, jeez.
I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. Victory, victory, victory. I hear the sound of victory. Victory, 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 victory. I'm like, yep, you hear the sound of victory. You hear the sound of Black victory. So, yeah.
You heard the sound. We didn't say which direction it was coming from.
Hello. She summoned angels from Africa, all right, and then they blessed their descendants. How about that? Thank you, God. So anyway, yes, God is good. So she really thought she was doing something. She really thought she was doing something for her squad. And first of all, why are these people in the house of worship with no masks on? And it's COVID. How about that? We in a pandemic. How about that? Here's the thing. Paula White stole so much from Black women. Black women preachers. A Black woman was supposed to be pastoring that church she's currently pastoring. Oh. How about that? So Paula White has hijacked a lot of things from Black women, has mocked Black women preachers, and she's just it was foolish. It was silly. It was really bad. It was bad. It was very disrespectful, very very not tasteful at all. And you're going to summon the angels of Africa to come? First of all, you got no business doing no such thing with your white, Eurocentric, Caucasian self. Full stop. And it was just wrong. It was just not right. But let me tell you something. Black folk know how to turn a really tragic moment into something funny. The memes were hilarious. Oh, the videos are funny. The remixes are great. They're funny. Black people.
I just love us.
I love us. We know how to take a sour lemon and make lemonade on anything. And so, people poke fun at Paula White, and I got some good giggles. So moving forward, on that Thursday, we saw that video, and the wonderful, prolific, profound, prophetic, pastoral, pink robe preaching preacher, the Reverend Dr. Melva Sampson, went live in her digital hush harbor, and it was quite wonderful. And she said, based off of something that Mama E.T. Hari says about, if Paula White can summon, why aren't we summoning? And we summoned our ancestors. Yes, we did. On live, in our own home, everybody was in their respected spaces. Dr. Sampson was leading the charge, and we were in our house. Honey, I was ringing the bells, okay? I was ringing my ancestral bells. I had my singing bowls.
Right.
We burnt the candles,
We did what we had to do.
We protected ourselves, covered ourselves, anointed. Well, you traveled. I anointed myself. And by traveling, Jamal went into the spirit realms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in there, and we was doing what we needed to do. Okay. Taking care of business, full stop. I know I was about to go all up in it. Listen, we was taking care of business.
Right.
Channeled in some of the ancestors to turn it. And that was the charge from Dr. Sampson for us to turn it. And we turned it, honey. What? The ancestors have turned it. They turned it.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, we heard good news that Georgia was turning blue. Nevada was swinging blue. Pennsylvania was possibly going blue.
Right.
The margins were narrowing and narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. Yeah. It was narrowing and yeah. Oh my God, it was so good. It got good to me. Hey, God. Yes, it got so good. I mean, it was narrowing. And then, just when we thought our hope was not going to be lost, we just kept seeing the numbers just shrink and shrink and shrink. And then Joe Biden was just taking the lead. I was like, come on, somebody. What was your thoughts on Friday?
Oh my God. Friday, I was like, I was just thinking like, oh my God, this is so close. But where other people would lose hope because it's so close, I was just like, no, it's too close. No, it's too close to lose hope.
Hey!
Like, you got to keep, the quote dances, like, you got to keep hope alive. Like,
hey!
Like you just,
yeah.
You got to, if you gotta manifest the election, like you gotta believe, you have faith in the vote that you casted.
Hey!
Like you gotta believe that your vote counts. Like they're taking the time to, for the first time in history, they're taking the time necessary to count every last vote. So when they say every vote counts, they mean it.
Literally. Every vote counted. Like, and I had posted on social media, I said, what if, in fact, Georgia been blue, but voter suppression?
Right.
What if voter suppression is the reason why we have not been able to progress as a nation? Which is why partly we need to, let go of the Electoral College.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of it, right? Google is free. Go look up the history of the Electoral College. We're not going to get too deep into that today. So that has a lot to do with it, right? The voter suppression. Perhaps a lot of states could have been blue because the most populous areas and neighborhoods of these states have us in it, right? When you talk about Michigan, you mean Detroit. When you talk about Pennsylvania, you really mean Philly and Pittsburgh. When you talk about Arizona, you're really talking about Phoenix.
Let's talk
and
about
Tucson.
that for a second.
When you're talking about Nevada, you're really talking about Las Vegas. When you're talking about Georgia, you're talking about Atlanta and Clayton County and Decatur. And you're talking about these places that have black folk, right? When you're talking about possibly narrowing the margin in North Carolina and how North Carolina was almost completely blue, it's leaning more red, but the margin is still there. You're thinking about Charlotte and Durham and Raleigh and Winston-Salem and Fayetteville, right? You're thinking about these counties and Wake County. Like, you're thinking about counties that have predominantly us in them, right? And so you say you want to talk about, let's talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So what I think is interesting is that they redlined us. Pushed us all into these neighborhoods to keep us away.
White flight.
To keep their states Republican and red and as racist as they can keep them. And then this year, because we all came out to vote, all of these people that were confined to one area, they were so flabbergasted as to how could this state that's predominantly red turn blue? Because you pushed all of us into one area and we all voted. It's not about how small the city is, it's how big the population in that city is. New York State, big. Not a lot of people voting.
And very red, too.
Not a lot of people voting. Not a lot of populations in upstate New York. But in the 5 boroughs, millions of people voting. That thing gonna turn blue. It don't matter how many people on your farm in upstate New York picking apples. In Pennsylvania, they all in these fields voting red. But like you said, Philadelphia, turning out that blue.
Come on now.
So y'all redlined us, and we used the red line to turn it blue.
That's it. We rode the red line to turn it blue. Come on, somebody. That's it right there. What? And that's a good example of, and and I don't mean to cherry pick the Bible, but I'm going to use it today. This is exactly what we mean when we say what the enemy meant for evil, God worked it out for our good. I feel like preaching now, right? I said, hey, you got to excuse me for cherry picking the scripture. But I said, for all intents and purposes, let me just say how I feel it right now. What the white enemy thought was for evil, God worked it out for the black people's good. Now, I don't mean to lump everybody together like that, because I will say this: all white people aren't Republican, and all Republicans aren't white, and all Republicans aren't white supremacists. In the terms of MAGA people hijacked the Republican Party and decided to hide behind the Republican Party to move their agenda. Right? It's not that 45 made this country racist. It allowed racist people to feel comfortable enough to be exposed and to live freely and walk the light of day, being who they actually are. Yep. They actually literally took off their mask, and not wearing a mask, or they refusing to hide they've shown their faces, right? They've shown their faces. Like, what did Dave Chappelle said, is all this time y'all was walking around with a Klan mask, and now y'all don't want to wear a mask at all.
Right.
Well, so let's call it what it is, right? Let's call it what it is. The sons of Confederate veterans, the sons of the Confederacy, the daughters of the Confederacy, right? These people who want to hold the Confederacy in place, they are the ones who have hijacked the Republican Party. And I'm not saying I agree with everything the Republican Party does in general. I am also saying that
it ain't all of them.
Hello. Yeah. And you can't lump them all together.
And if you don't want to be lumped in with those people, I will say, now that we have a new president who's willing to unite the country and work with everybody from every walk of life, give him the chance. Let him
be an American president.
Let him be an American president. Yes. Let him try to understand somebody. If you know that in your heart that you are not a racist white person, stand up when you hear somebody saying some racist stuff.
That's it. Be active. Right. Be active, not passive, because that passive stuff doesn't get us anywhere. Right? We all have to be active in dismantling racism. It's going to take everybody to do it. It's going to literally take everyone.
And don't ignore your white privilege. Use your white privilege to level the playing field when you see someone else using it in the wrong way.
That's it.
Because privilege ain't bad. I wish I had privilege.
I mean, you have some.
I have some. I mean,
we all have some type of privileges.
Yeah, so privilege isn't a bad thing, but it's how you use your privilege. Yeah. That changes how everybody interacts with each other.
Like, I'm a black woman with privilege. I went to college, right? I'm a college graduate. That means, and I went to an Ivy League, so I have privilege. So we all have privileges, right? That life has given us, and we have to use our places of power to impact change, to bring good news, to help make this place a wonderful, wholesome, empathetic place for everyone. And so I'm excited that Joe Biden's the president, not because I agree with everything, but because I believe that he's a decent human being who genuinely loves the American people. Same thing with Kamala Harris, deeply loves the American people. And so we're excited for the days ahead.
Yep. And on that note, let's move forward to the days ahead, and we will see you guys next week. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and on Instagram at Guys Got Jokes TV, or you can follow us personally. I'm at Jamal Rich Comedy.
And I'm at Portionality.
We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.